Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our live stream.
Hey everyone. All four people in the world who know who Armie Hammer is.
I know, but this is so interesting. So there's hopefully after we do this, more people will know who he is and how gross he is.
Well, and I heard about this story when it first came out, like in passing, and I didn't pay any attention to it. And I'll have to admit, because I didn't know who Armie Hammer was.
I didn't know, and it's so I had to like look him up, and then I was like, oh yeah, his face looks familiar. But then I read, what movies he was in, and I was like, okay, I've seen that movie. Still can't place him. Like he doesn't play a memorable part in movies usually.
I did that too with, I guess he was in Gossip Girl.
Yeah, I don't remember. So let's see
Yeah,
if
it
I
said that he was. Sorry, I'm going to switch my headphones out. These ones are being very, very staticky.
Oh, okay. Um, we're just like waiting for people to come in, saying hello to everyone before we get started. Hi, Tessie. We have Snoop is here with us. Hello, Cindy Lou Who. Hello, hello. Hi, Jesse. Good evening. Hope everybody's doing all right tonight. Having a good evening. Hi, Charlotte.
So his name is actually Armie Hammer. He's named Armand Hammer. Is that correct?
That's correct. So it's like those rich people family names where they just keep cycling through the same three names over and over again.
I wonder which old money family Armand Hammer is from.
Is it them? I didn't find Arm and Hammer
Oh
from
yeah,
them.
it was them.
Was it?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Oh yeah, I guess that would be from the like the pharmaceutical. Well, they owned like that. It was like a
Their
I
money
don't know.
came mostly from their oil business.
Well, yeah, Occidental Oil. And that wasn't even the original money, but that was where the big money came from. Um hey Big Papa,
Oh,
what's
Jessie
up?
stayed awake for us.
She is awake for us. She's here.
I was going to give Christ Conflict a shout out, but I don't think he's actually watching.
Oh, well, we'll make sure we give him
Isn't
give
he the
him
one that asked you for a shout out?
yeah, like where is he? Where is he? We'll see if he joins us later on. Um okay, yeah. So when we do start to get into it, I do have like a little bit of backstory about the family, and I can explain like granddaddy, great granddaddy, how Army got the money. But as the thumbnail says, rich boys always be in trouble. And this is one of those cases.
Yep, rich boys are definitely always in trouble, especially the ones whose parents won't like to admit that their boy is trouble or their daughter is trouble. Because every now and then you'll have a few that will hold their kids accountable in some way, but I think that
Yeah.
it's been implied that the mother especially knows some of what's wrong with her son and just like won't admit it.
So we have some clips for later on and that will be played, and I think you guys will hear that there's the mother feels like there's definitely something wrong with Armie. um, that the devil's trying to take him, but but I don't know that she I mean she's not doing anything about it. I don't know that she feels like she can do anything about it, or I don't know that she truly thinks that there's something wrong with him. She's very like superstitious, I guess.
My problem is, why do they always have to blame it on the devil? Like, why can't their kid just be bad?
Yeah, well,
Like, it's
because
not always the devil that did it.
no, it's in this case, I think it's just like he's spoiled. He thinks that he has money that can buy him out of anything. And that's how he was raised, to be honest with you. Like, I read the Vanity Fair article about his family. And I mean, he comes from a long line of bad guys, to be honest. Like, they're not good people. They didn't do good things. They bought their way out of a lot of crime and just, I don't know, just corrupt, evil stuff.
So, can you hear this static on my end, or is it just in my headsets? Because I don't want to be like annoying to everyone if it's.
I don't hear static coming from you. Maybe you all hear static coming from me. Am I staticky? Tell us in the chat.
Because I might just need to leave and come back in.
Well, if you're hearing static because I'm staticky, then it's my equipment and I need to do something.
No, it's even staticky, like when no one's talking. So
Oh,
let me leave and come right back in.
okay. It's just me and you guys for a second. No static. Okay. Thanks. Oh, it's intermittent on Stacy's end. I like quickly. So we can get started. Yeah, I agree. He does have like a funny name. Armand Hammer is his name. Definitely a name.
He does indeed have a bit of a porn name.
Yeah. How's the static now? Better? Nope. She's gone again.
I'm still here. I moved all of my computer stuff around, and now if I turn my head even slightly, everything statics.
Uh-oh. This is what happens when you try and rearrange your desk. Once it's perfect, you don't move cords, you don't move anything.
It's Do you still hear static now?
I'm not hearing static at all. It has skipped to Kim now. It's now you guys hear static from me. Well, we're just going to be a pair tonight, aren't we? Hi, Selfie Queen Cindy. How you doing? We are having technical difficulties, everyone. Please bear with us as we have fun trying to get our lives together. We have to sit really still in our seats. Do not move, Snoop Medic said.
So is it bad now?
I don't know, guys. Tell us in the chat. Am I staticky? Is Stacy staticky?
Yeah. But see, I'm using wireless headphones, so it's not even a wire that could have done it.
Well, I was always on streams that we were doing before, I was always using headphones, and I stopped because I was doing that. I would always do that robotic sound and it would go in and out. So I don't have headphones on at all. I just said, screw it. It's better without them. Um, so, we, hopefully the sound is all better. Okay. So Tessie said all good. Okay. All good here. Snoop said all good here. Jessie said she doesn't hear it now, so we should be good.
Okay, so let's get started then on what Armie Hammer did.
Yeah. Okay, so we have our entire stream tonight is about Armie Hammer, the actor, the oil tycoon heir, and the possible cannibal. So he's been in the news recently, probably back in like January. And I don't know if you guys like looked him up before the stream started, but he was he made headlines because a girlfriend that he was dating actually came out about what was happening with him. So I guess we could start with a little bit of a backstory about Armie. The static comes in and out like it's the streaming service, she said. Did you hear static from me just now?
I do hear static. I just can't figure out what it's coming from because I have no headphones plugged in now. I'll try one more time.
You guys hear static right now? Can fire yourself static? Yes or no? Okay. How about static now? Did that fix it? Or is it still really bad? Is Mercury? I don't think Mercury is still in retrograde. I think it's out of retrograde, so we can't blame it on that. It's still static. Oh my goodness. We are having such a night. We don't usually have this problem. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, how about now? Are you guys still hearing the static now? Come on, technology. Better, worse? Stacy's resetting her computer at the moment, so she'll be back on in just a second. I know, Charlotte, sometimes it like the robot sound happens for me too. I can't stand it whenever that happens. Because I can't hear it on my end. Okay, I moved my phone. I moved my mic. I moved everything. So Stacy's resetting her computer. It was extra loud on the TV. Okay. I'm not really sure what's going on. Because this is a save.
Okay, so do you want to try exiting and coming back in to see if maybe that?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do now that you are back.
Sorry, it took a second for everything to come back on. And just so y'all know, the reason that I stream with Kim is because I actually get very embarrassed talking to you alone. So we're going to pretend like this isn't happening, and it's definitely getting edited out of the final product. I even logged onto this earlier today to test my StreamYard when I moved everything around. I can't believe. There's a reason you do recorded videos. Yeah, I kind of prefer the recorded videos myself. Something about live streams are very... Oh, Kim is back, but now it's giving her my picture, so you're about to see me talk to me. It does take the live streams away when you edit. That sucks.
Okay, I'm back. How's the sound?
I don't hear any static now.
Okay, great. So it was me and some kind of problem I had. And sorry. It's all better now, though, hopefully.
I was explaining to everyone how I do not like to talk by myself, so this was going to be awesome while we waited on you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't either. So I was like, so what's up, guys? That was just super
I remember
awkward.
when what was just Ashley Simpson was singing on Saturday Night Live or something, and it started she was lip singing, and it started playing the wrong track behind her, and she starts doing a weird country dance on stage.
No, I don't remember that, but I would do something weird like that too and awkward.
Well, that is me when you leave me by myself. I'm like, okay, guess I'm going to do a line dance for you.
That's funny. Yep. Well, okay. Sorry for technical difficulties, but here we are. You guys will get over it. Yeah. Hello. Hey, Jennifer. How are you? Mama T, how are you? T-Spiracy, she's in the chat telling us how to fix our tech issues. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Daisy, just so you know, I hid someone. I feel like people should go where they are celebrated. It's your channel, though, so I'm just telling you.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I was a little thrown off for a second. So she did a hoedown dance.
That's what she did. It was like some weird, crazy hoedown line dance.
Yeah. Yep. That's definitely what I would do. Or I would just stand there and die a little inside because I would be so awkward and not know what to do.
Oh, well, it's a good thing you just now got the notification, Jesse, because we're just now able to finally get started on it.
Right, exactly. So hopefully everyone's just now joining us because that was a whole awkward moment where we didn't know what was going on. Hey, Hannah.
You know, if that had happened to us the first time we ever live streamed, I don't know that you guys would have convinced me to do a second.
No, I would have been like, this sucks. We're horrible at this. I don't know how YouTubers do this. Bye. Because that was like 15 minutes of us going, can you hear us now? Are we staticky now? How about now? How about now?
And we're not getting paid like the Verizon / Sprint / whatever company he's working for now guy does.
Right. So thanks for putting up with us. For everyone who sat here for 15 minutes listening to us go, okay, tell me in the chat, is it staticky now? Thank you. Thank you. You guys are true friends. We appreciate that.
So the first thing I found, well, you know, of course, like I was saying, I heard about it in the news in passing, but I didn't pay attention to it because Armie Hammer's my age, which means he was not playing the heartthrobs in movies when I was watching movies. Because, you know, you're always watching someone a few years older than you because they don't hire people that are 14 to play a 14-year-old.
Right, of course.
So this guy never hit my radar as heartthrobs. So, you know. And then I was talking to my sister, and she said, have you ever gone down the Armie Hammer wormhole? And she sent me a link to this subreddit. And y'all, Kim, how crazy was the subreddit?
It was a rabbit hole that I spent an entire 24 hours going down, and I probably could continue to go down. I have clipped so much, just like diving into, I mean, there's the camp that believes that Armie Hammer is innocent. There's the camp that wants to like burn him at the stake. It's crazy. AZ said who? Exactly. Like he's no leading actor.
A lot of the movies he's in are not like big hitters, and even the few that have done well, he's not memorable.
No, he's not. And I mean, he's been in some big movies, but he's, again, we were talking about this before we had our technical difficulties. He's not the guy that you remember. So apparently he was in Gossip Girl, and I'm like, who was he in Gossip Girl?
So do you remember the scammer in Gossip Girl that dated I cannot remember her name right now. The blonde.
The scammer.
There was a grifter that like convinced her he was this rich guy in like 3 or 4 episodes of Gossip Girl.
Oh my God. Yeah. But that's like him playing himself.
Yes.
Crazy. See,
and then he was in The Social Network, but I'll have to be honest, I never really watched The Social Network.
Well, The Social Network was boring. And he was someone in The Social Network. He probably played himself in that too, to be honest. I thought, so super ironic because you guys know how we like the culty stuff here. He played Billy Graham in a movie. So I thought that was kind of interesting, like 6 Degrees, you know?
And he did actually, he was supposed to be in a few movies coming up that he pulled out of, like, not because they asked him to or anything. Like, it was just better for him and his family at the time for him to not work.
Yeah. So he definitely he pulled out of a movie with Jennifer Lopez. Yep.
What did he do? Kim, I would like to read one of the messages that House of Effie put out from Armie Hammer, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
So House of Effie is the Instagram account for, if I have this right, Kim, I don't know if I may have misread, it's one of the exes of Armie Hammer. It's Instagram account, or it's the Instagram account that was leaking the messages of Armie Hammer's exes, right?
It's the Instagram account that was leaking the messages. We don't know exactly who that particular person is. Right.
So here's, and honestly, it makes no sense. It's so wild, but this is a deep rooted primal thing. I wanted to literally eat you, like consume you. I swear to God, this shit is dangerous and can make you a cannibal serial killer. Ha ha. I mean, I am totally and so deeply satiated and not even horny right now, but when it comes back, I'm scared. I took a few bites where I had to stop myself. I got totally lost in just biting you. I didn't know where I was or what year it was. I was so lost in this crazy light. Like the entire universe just became my teeth on your skin. I was going to bite a piece of you off, it felt like, and if I did it, I knew I would want to do it again. I felt like an actual animal. I could have killed you. It was so intense. I am 100% a cannibal. I want to eat you. That's scary to admit. I've cut the heart out of a living animal before and eaten it while still warm. So, and that's just one of the many, many, many messages. If Hannibal Lecter had Snapchat, yes. If Hannibal Lecter had Snapchat.
Right. So right, that's one of the many messages, but there's several women who apparently he's been involved with that have come out against him to say that he abused them in different ways and that he manipulated them into thinking that they were in like a BDSM relationship with him. Like, think 50 Shades of Grey. Because this guy's super handsome, rich guy. Um, Oil tycoon heir, you know, he's an actor. He's like they got a ton of money. And he's into this BDSM mess, he says, and all these different women have said, well, that's what we thought we were getting into. And turns out it's way more than that. So one of his accusers has actually said things like, so again, we're back to branding here because he branded
All the great guys are branders, don't you
oh,
know?
we're back to that. We just talked about Keith Raniere branding women last week, but here we go again. He carved his initial into one of his victims, and then the same victim, he said that he wanted to find a doctor that would remove her ribs, and then he wanted to smoke her ribs and eat them.
And I think this is the same woman too that he said he wanted to cut a piece of her flesh off and make her cook it for him too, right?
Yes. Yes. So gross. Like exactly, Hannah. Exactly. I don't care what he looks like. You're not going to eat me. I'm not cutting my flesh off for you. You're not carving your initials into me. No. Thank you. I am running away. First of all, I'm vanilla. I can't do BDSM anyway, but
And
I'm
that's
not
not
going to
like,
claim.
and we need to be clear, what he was doing is not BDSM. And BDSM, you have consent of both partners, you have safe words, you have a respect for each other, and that is definitely not it. I don't want to, go too far into what BDSM is because honestly, I don't really know a lot about it. I'm not part of the community, but I do know that you don't pick up a knife and start carving your initials into anybody's skin with no, just and be like BDSM.
Right. Right. Well, and that's kind of like the point of how these women why they started coming out about him, because they like ended their relationship with him, and him and his lawyers are saying, well, everything was consensual. There's, this is just our BDSM lifestyle, and we're not, we don't kink shame or anything like that, but But what he was doing, what they're saying is we weren't really consenting to what he was doing because it was taking it above and beyond that. So they're just now learning this about themselves. And they were, and it just, it's a very complicated story to tell. So, and it's kind of heartbreaking to listen to some of these women talk about their experience with him, and super gross, just gross.
It
But
kind of has a lot of Keith Raniere type feeling to it. I mean, not that he was like trying to do cannibal stuff, but a lot of the women describe like him coming in and taking over their whole life. Like
yeah.
he was just that big of a character.
Yep. It would, I mean, well, the one woman described him like he was really charismatic, and he did take over everything. Like it was just, he wanted her to meet his family, and he just kind of took over, and they went out on a lot of dates, and they were always together. And then it was, she wanted to do anything that she could to make him happy. And it was this, and she had never been in a relationship like that before. So she thought that it was BDSM, and she didn't realize that it was going beyond that. And what actually started um to kind of open her eyes to it was, she was an actress and a model, and she was like, she had social media accounts. So she's posting pictures on socials, and her fans are noticing bruises on her body and saying things about it. Looking back, that's not BDSM. It's going too far. So that's kind of where, that's like a brief overview of what this guy was doing. Crazy guy.
And then he even called some of these people and left voice memos trying to threaten the women to quit talking about it because, unfortunately for Mr. Armie Hammer, he's in the middle of a divorce and custody battle.
Yes, he is. And that's what got me whenever I was reading his story about like rich boys always be in trouble, because I just felt like he was so privileged and tone deaf to his own situation. And then he's over here like carving his initials into other women and having all these affairs while he's in a divorce and in a custody battle and all. I don't know. I read an article where he said that during COVID, he was trapped in a beach house in the Cayman Islands with his wife and kids and his parents, and it just got to him. Oh, I'm so sorry your beach house in the Cayman Islands wasn't good enough for you. Like, give me a break. Part of me.
Yeah. My favorite thing about listening to him complain about being stuck in his beach house is that I have to drive like, I don't know, a day to get to the nearest beach if I were so wanted. So he can go like fuck off with that.
Right? I mean, yeah, that's the thing. He's just so tone deaf, like, oh, it was so horrible to be stuck in this little beach house in the Cayman Islands. Was it?
And
Was it
little,
so
okay, that's
horrible?
a little beach house. I wonder what he considers little.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Snoop, he is, so the divorce was filed like middle of 2020.
They
And
were married for like 10 years, weren't they?
they were married for 10 years. Had like apparently had, I don't know, it appeared to be happily married for 10 years. But anyway, divorce filings happened. They have two young children together. And then like, because they were separated, he started dating, and he was very public with his dating. There's all kinds of pictures all over the internet with him with all these different women. I'd be devastated if I had to stay in my island mansion, unable to indulge in my cannibalism. I know, Vesta. Like, I don't know what we would do. It just seems like such a hard life to live. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. So thankfully, I've never been locked into my beach mansion for any reason. I've never had to experience that hardship. Maybe that's why it's so hard for me to empathize.
maybe, maybe, yeah. So
Um,
I
can
want to
we
like
talk about his kit that he walked around with? Like a because I know
yes.
one of these exes said that he had a whole ass kit that he walked around with.
Hi Xylee, hi Julie. Yes. Um. So I guess I don't know anything about BDSM, y'all. I don't, but I guess there's a thing in that lifestyle where some people carry a suitcase or a kit, and he had one, and he had things in it like there was okay, talk to me. There were safety pins in it. I don't know what you would use those for, and I don't want to know.
I'm
Um
assuming if a button snaps off something is the only reason he's just prepared.
okay, good. Cuz my mind went to like super like insanely. We're sewing stuff back together, right? Um and that's why there's safety pins. Okay, good. So it's a sewing kit. That's all right. Knives were involved in this BDSM kit. And then there were some ropes involved, right? Like,
There and you know what's funny about the ropes is this guy did an interview, and I think I sent it to you earlier. I don't know if you got a second to watch it, but he did an interview with Stephen Colbert a couple years ago maybe, and they're
yeah.
joking about how much he loves knots.
Yes. I mean, so strange. Like, he says you're a knot enthusiast, and they start laughing about it because Stephen Colbert is like, why are you a not enthusiast? Like definitely implying that this is a strange thing to be an enthusiast about, because there's only a certain few things that you would want to have to know how to tie knots for. If you're like an Eagle Scout, or you like sailing boats, you know, like that's it. And then other than that, it would be for really bad reasons like this. So, Julie, stop spreading lies about me. Sounds more like a Dexter kit is for real. Hey, PJ.
And he did come out and say that all of this stuff is not true. It didn't happen. But the Effie account came out anonymously. So it wasn't someone who was trying to profit off of this story. And shortly after the Effie account released some stuff, which I did find out it is by someone who said they had an affair with him for 5 years. Like 5 or 6 other women contacted her with the same kinds of screenshots, similar stories. And that's when they were like, okay, no, this guy's the real deal. There's something wrong with him. And it was even like if they cut their finger while chopping vegetables, he would want to drink their blood. Like, it's disgusting stuff.
Yeah, it's super gross. Um,
And then we have a whole group of people that are just like team Armie Hammer, which I'm like, first of all, how does he even have a team? How do you guys even know who this dude is?
I don't know. I don't know.
It'd be like if I had a team. Like, I didn't know I had a team, guys. I didn't, like.
There's there's a whole Reddit page for him, like in defense of him, saying he's innocent.
Yeah. And, also, he pulled the greatest move of any rich person who gets in trouble for doing something. And a month ago, he checked himself into rehab.
Oh, standard practice for the rich boys. Got to
What
go to
rehab are
rehab.
you going to?
Yeah, blame it on the rehab. Um, so that kind of, I want to get into his backstory just a little bit,
Oh, go for it.
um, because I read this Vanity Fair article about him, and I think, and this isn't, first of all, this does not excuse anything that this man has done, nor does it explain it in any way. But I want you all to know what kind of money this guy comes from, and also that his entire family, um, yeah, they're all bad. So, he definitely is one of those guys that's kicking back, with his riches and thinking like, I can do whatever I want and no one's going to be able to touch me. Um, he he comes from a long line of rich people. His like great grandfather, Julius Hammer, was a Russian doctor, that came to the United States and had direct ties to Stalin. Like, that was weird, I thought. Um, and got into trouble for things that I'm not going to talk about on our channel, but you can look it up. So he was a doctor. And then his son, Armand Hammer, um, ended up taking over the family business, which I guess is where like the Armie Hammer stuff came into play, and like grew the family business. Well, Armand Hammer, granddaddy, um, was said when he died to be worth about $180 million. Armand Hammer is known for hobnobbing with politicians like, past presidents. You can name several. He's got ties to the Watergate scandal. He's got ties to paying people off for, there was like different scandals that happened in his home, different like crimes that happened where like money laundering, things like that. Like, he was just one of those guys that you throw money at it and hush hush and make it go away.
Isn't that what you think though? Anytime you read, like, I read multiple times about different times throughout the years as in his life of him living at in the Cayman Islands, like as a child, as an adult, his family, like that's always so weird to me because as soon as I hear somebody say that they're even visiting the Islands, my first thought is like, are you like laundering money or something?
Yep.
Or is that just where my brain goes?
Yeah, it's like they would go there when granddaddy was in trouble. So, the grandfather Armand's father was also named Julius. Like, yeah, they all have the same like three names. And Julius, Armand, and then there was like a Michael in there somewhere. And it just goes like generation after generation.
We know who the least favorite child was. I'm just saying, Michael.
Yeah, Michael was the least favorite child, by the way, Armie's dad, who apparently shot a guy in their house.
Just to watch him die?
No, it was over a gambling debt. And Armand, granddad, paid $50,000 to get him off for it. Yes, this is real. This actually happened. No kidding. Like, this is what these people are like. So, Armand, worth $180 million, paying people off for all these crimes, laundering money, making random trips to the Cayman Islands, had a mistress that he made her change her name. He paid for her entire life, had her followed, did all kinds of different things, to keep her under his thumb for all of these years and said that he would take care of her once he passed away, left her out of the will. She got nothing. And like his wife, Armie's grandmother knew about this woman. It's just so strange. And this money, it's like money is the root of all evil. I believe it. In this family, this is what these people are known for. They've even been known to hire ghostwriters to write like biographies about the family that paint them in a better light so that they don't look as evil as they are. So this guy comes by it honestly, apparently. Like his whole family's like this. And I don't know much about Michael, the dad, other than he shot a guy and killed him over a gambling debt in his home. But Armand, the grandfather, like his money, they come from this line of Russian doctors tied to Stalin, back and forth from Russia to the United States, all through the early 1900s. Well, several different wives by Julius, the great grandfather, and Armand, the grandfather. He then marries this woman who has a ton of money, and he invests her money into Occidental oil. And that is where all the money came from because they still own it. And he made it very profitable. And that's where he got all of his money. But to this day, there are like court hearings and battles over the $180 million fortune because the will was just jacked up. I think he left his son Michael like $250,000 of the $180 million. So it's just one of those things where it's like you couldn't make this up. It's an actual movie that you would watch about a crime family. And this is this guy's real life. And now here he is, everybody looking at him in the media like he's so perfect. He's like this, he's got this perfect white privilege, perfect life, rich, perfect square jawline, actor, all this money. And really, I mean, his whole family is disgusting and corrupt. And he's a cannibal, apparently. So there you have it. Armie Hammer.
Yeah. I have a couple things if you wanted to from the subreddit.
Yes. Let's share what we have.
And I don't know if these need to be read aloud or if you guys want to.
Nope.
If I move too fast, I apologize.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys can just.
And you know what? We're going to link this subreddit because I'm assuming they want people to know about this asshole since they made a subreddit for him.
Yep.
I'm not going to clasp it.
Gross.
It.
Yeah, look at that. That's a little too much.
I was 20 years. And that's another thing, too, is that a lot of these girls were much younger than him.
The one in particular that that's been very vocal about her time with him, that he was really serious with for a while, towards the end of last year, she's 22.
And there's even been some talks about him doing some grooming, but I didn't click on those links because honestly, I just can't do the. I'm glad when people get caught and they deserve it, but I'm not the one to do those stories.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. Like, I'd never heard of this person. And there's multiple people that he's done this to.
If something goes wrong and my wife finds out, I will probably remove your head from your body. Hmm. Sounds like a nice guy, huh?
Mm. And yeah, he just uses some of the most eloquent language. I can understand why he was able to convince all of them he was the real thing.
Yeah.
And like, so those are just a couple, and I'm going to link to the subreddit down and below because they really, they went, they even have things in order and they have it listed as to what you're going to be looking at. They have voice memos where he used NDAs to try and, bully people into being quiet about it. He's got where he got turned on by watching the documentary Don't Mess with Cats. And I don't know if any of y'all have watched that documentary, but I was unable to finish it because of I couldn't finish it because of what the person was doing long before he made it to the human murder part. And I can guarantee you, if anybody I knew walked up to me and was like, yeah, that documentary really turned me on, I'm going to be like, excuse me, officers, this person right here.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of women got trapped into this kind of lifestyle, and I'm afraid that there's probably a lot more people out there like him. So I have a big problem with this. And with the way that he uses his power and influence to feel like he's untouchable and that he can't get in trouble for something like this because he should.
He absolutely should get in trouble for something like this. And at no point should anybody ever feel like that you can't say no to something. You can always say no.
Yep.
Like, always say no. And I don't care how rich someone is, how poor someone is, you are allowed to say no. And if they don't agree, if they don't stop once you've said no, that is a crime.
Yeah. Well, and in this case, I think that some of them are learning um what consent means. And these again, these women were very young. So 22 years old and trying to figure out why
22
um
years old and they thought this man loved them.
you're right. And trying to figure out like, okay, I want to make him happy in any way that I can. So yes, I was saying yes to all of these things, but did I want to do any of it? No. And should he have known that? Absolutely. So is it wrong in that aspect? Yes. And that's where the lines are blurred.
And
With
someone
the
who
women.
who actually loves you is not going to keep trying to get you to cross your own boundaries and lines repeatedly over and over and over again. They're not going to put that on you.
Right.
So you don't have to put up with this stuff.
Right.
So
No, leave.
I maybe one thing is if the person you are dating or potentially want to date and or marry wants you to have a brand of themselves on you in any way, shape, or form, run. If that person wants you to do things you are uncomfortable with, and after you said you are uncomfortable and don't want to do it, they still push you, run. Like, see these red flags and run. Do not keep going to pass go.
Right. Just keep going. Yeah. It's I think that there's just a there I don't even know what to say sometimes in situations like this because it's so heavy and there's these women are still trying to figure life out and there's no good answer for stuff like there are still going to be people who get away with this. This guy, this man Armie Hammer is going to get away with this. And there are apologists out there who are building entire social media platforms apologizing for him and saying that he's innocent. How gross.
Oh, I should have pulled up that late. The one of his recent ex-girlfriends, she made a magnificent statement to the effect of, and I'll probably butcher it, like, we should be ashamed that we live in a society that teaches us it's okay to question victims, but not question the actual perpetrator.
Was that the Dr. Oz?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a really good interview. We'll have to link it later on. So, and then we'll probably make like a short video for you guys with some of the information that we have. There's a picture of the brand. Like, I don't know why we keep running into guys that brand women. Creepy. I hope we don't run in. I hope next week, whenever I'm doing research on our topics, that I don't run into a guy who's branding women. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. And we will be like Kim said, we're going to be releasing this into a shorter video, and in that video we're going to show more of the screenshots and mix it up and stuff. We kind of just wanted to tell our audience who Armie Hammer was in the first place, though, because who's going to click on a video? Every time I say his name, I feel like I'm making that up.
Armie Hammer.
Yes.
It's such a weird name, like, well, at the very beginning, whenever Big Papa said it's like a porn star name, it's a weird name, but it's family name, Armand Hammer. There's Armand and Julius all the way down the line.
Except for Michael, because fuck him.
And he got left with like nothing.
And you know what?
Like an aunt that works at Home Depot, you guys.
After hearing all this stuff about Armie Hammer, Michael's over there like, yeah, I don't have that name.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't want to be any part of that, but that's his daddy.
And they say that his family is like extremely religious, which is coming from one of the ex-girlfriends. And I think you mentioned it too, and his mom was saying like he's just got the devil in him and he's got demons and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Were you getting him therapy for any of this, or were you just like, well, it's them demons, they done got him?
Well, I don't know. I mean, how religious are you when you're standing by family members who have been murdering people and committing crimes for generations now? Like, defect. I would be denouncing the entire family. But you know why they don't do it? Because $180 million.
Oh.
Crazy, right?
Well, and the thing about this guy right here too is that he's probably going to be canceled from being an actor. If that, that's what he enjoyed doing, he's going to get canceled from that. He's already had to pull out of, quite a few movies and whatnot because of this scandal. But he's a billionaire, or heir to a billionaire. You can't cancel that kind of person.
Right. No, he's old money, guys.
Like, he's just going to have to go to his beach house and be alone. Like, if I even did a 16th of what this person did and was canceled, I would be homeless within a few months.
Right.
Like, it just shows you how unfair it is. Like, there should be more that you can do about this. And I don't know what you could do, because, you'd have to be able to prove it. And then they'd have to actually like press charges. But he was all over the globe doing this stuff.
Yeah.
There's messages from people in Italy. I mean, like, he was all over. Like, you wouldn't be able to prosecute this.
Well, and it's not going to be prosecuted, but this is just one of many cases. One of many. We've heard of these stories over decades. There are so many different types of old money families who get away with stuff like this. The Kennedys, I mean, come on, they're all corrupt, all of them. You know, they can just sweep things under the rug. Like, "Oh, I didn't do that. You
Is
guys
it
saw that?"
is it bad that the part for me that I just can't wrap my head around the most is the cannibalism?
Yeah. I yeah, I don't know how it got that far. You know, it's almost like because it didn't like actually I don't know what happened exactly with it. I know that he was saying, "I want to find a doctor to have your ribs removed and then smoke your ribs." But like I didn't find anything where he actually did cut someone's flesh off and then eat it. He was drinking blood and like licking wounds and things like that. And well,
And
like
just biting them?
right. And one of the victims was saying that like she knew that her wound was going to get infected because the mouth has so many germs in it. So like it's not good.
Especially his.
Yeah, especially his in his cannibal mouth. Gross.
But I
So
just don't even understand how that ever even like I can understand. I'm by no means do I want to shame anyone for your kink or whatever. You know, you do you, boo. But that's just one I cannot wrap my head around. Like, I don't know why anybody would be sitting around thinking, like, man, I could really go for some long pig right now. Like, I don't get it.
I don't. I Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand any of it, to be honest. I
Hey,
don't
you know,
understand
if they wanted to remake Deliverance, he could act in that.
as himself again. I mean,
Yes.
he's really good at being a selfish rich brat. In movies, he's really good at being like a con artist in movies. So yeah, he could do I mean, they could remake Hannibal and he could be that guy. So yeah. We have found a place for Armie Hammer in the world, even though I think he should be locked up in a jail cell in a 6 by 6 room. But that's my opinion and my opinion only. Don't come for me.
Even if they tried to lock him up, he would just end up living in his very small 8,000 square foot cottage on the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, his beach house in the Cayman Islands. You know what's interesting? I heard that his ex-wife or soon to be ex-wife is actually being really supportive of all the victims. Like she's in contact with all of the victims.
Oh, yeah.
And
She said she's like heartbroken to hear these stories.
yeah, like she had no idea and she hasn't and that she's been extremely supportive to all of them. So I thought that that was super interesting because in a lot of these cases what you hear is even when they're divorcing and it's the ex-spouse, they're still saying I don't know anything about it, I can't speak about it, and they don't ever come out, in support of because money. So I thought it was cool that she was actually supporting these women.
Well, and there's an interview with him talking about how he used to be really, really rough in the bedroom. And once he got married to a feminist, he wasn't able to do that anymore. And so his appetites changed and it's changed for the better. Meanwhile, he's got all these women that he is like torturing, abusing, and gaslighting and at victim blaming and everything else you can think of.
Wow. Hmm. Unbelievable.
And luckily for me, Preston is not famous, and I can guarantee you with a 100% certainty he never will be famous.
No,
But if
you
he
don't know
were,
that.
oh, I 100% know that. He does not like people enough to ever be like, they'd be like, "Oh, you're doing so well. Can you do another?" And he'd be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna stay in my room." But if he ever were famous and he did an interview and talked about our sex life or alluded to our sex life in any way, shape, or form, he would be in so much trouble when that interview aired. Of like, what was going through your mind when you started talking about how I don't like it when you pull my hair? Because that was one of the things he said about her. And what does that have to do with being a feminist? Like, yeah, I went and married me one of them damn old feminists. She don't let me pull her hair. I know a lot of feminists that would love for you to pull their hair.
I don't know. All of it makes me super uncomfortable to talk about. Like, and the whole thing is just making me, it just, I could never, ever talk about stuff like that. Ever. It's just personal to me. So, and I don't see the correlation either. And also, can we move over to the chat for a second? Because the chat is reminding me right now of the scene in The Office whenever Dwight is practicing CPR, and he he cuts the face off of the CPR doll and acts like Hannibal in the corner, because they are teaching CPR and they're singing the Staying Alive song, because that is the correct beat for CPR. That if you sing Staying Alive, you guys know that. Snoop Medic knows that. Anyway, that's my brain. That's how my brain works. You're welcome, everyone. Do you know what scene I'm talking about, or am I crazy? Did I just go nuts?
No, like, I know what you're talking about. I was just thinking that I cannot find the beat of a song, and anyone in my family can tell you that I have zero rhythm. I have to wait on somebody else to like start clapping, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I hear it now. So just so y'all know, you'll still probably die if I have to do your CPR, because I will be really off key over there, like trying in my head. And I'm not even going to show you what it would sound like in my head, because that would be a mean thing to do, but you're probably dying.
That's funny. No, but I mean, that's just my little brain just went straight directly to that scene, because I'm looking at the chat, seeing that they're talking about that song. And then I'm thinking about Hannibal Lecter, and then I'm thinking about that scene in that TV show, because that's totally what Dwight does to that CPR doll. And Vesta knows what I'm talking about. That's right, Vesta. We're on the same page. Thank you. You got
Well, I'll
it.
have to admit and say that's another one of the shows I never watched, but
Uh-oh.
I
Stacy
saw
and I are not twins.
we're twins. We just have a few things that we're different on.
Yeah.
Hey, neither one of us watched Game of Thrones, so we got that going for us.
True. I never watched Game of Thrones, and people were really super mad at me about that at one time. But then I was one of the ones at the end that was posting on social, like, I'm sorry that your dragon show ended stupidly, because I'd never watched a single episode. Couldn't tell you. I don't get any of the memes. I don't know.
Yeah, I never watched just actually I take it back. I watched the South Park episode on
Yes.
Game of Thrones. So that is where I have all of my knowledge from.
I've seen that one. That one's hilarious. Yeah. Okay. Snoop's got it in the Discord for our enjoyment later. Thank you, Snoop. I appreciate that.
Well, and I want to thank everyone for bearing with us, as we had some major technical difficulties there at the beginning.
Yes.
Keep an eye out for our video on Armie Hammer. I have to stop when I say his name because I feel like I'm making it up. Armie Hammer.
Yeah. When I asked my husband, like, do you know who Armie Hammer is? He went, Arm and Hammer. I mean, like, as a joke. And I swear to God, until tonight, I did not know that was his company. So I got to stop using Armie Hammer now.
I was just thinking, like, dang, I really like baking soda. Like, I keep it everywhere.
Yeah, but the other brands make baking soda. I got to buy different baking soda brands because I don't want to buy Armie Hammer knowing that guy, it might be putting money into his pockets.
That's the scary part, though, is that with billionaires, they have so many connections to so many things. You would pretty much be having to live off the grid and like grinding your own flour up to not be putting money in their pockets.
That's true. It's like so scary to think about all the different connections. And then, like, how do you even get all this money? How do you even get it? Where does it come from? How do you just like one day have all this money? You know, not to get off topic or anything, but you guys know, like Richard Branson went to space today, right? Like, how do you get that kind of money? How does Jeff Bezos, I know he owns Amazon, but he had money before Amazon and have all that money? I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that Elon Musk has as much money
We
as he
can't
has.
possibly give paid bathroom breaks. By the way, guys, I'm building my space rocket just to see if I can.
Right. You know, I thought it was super funny that they're like Richard Branson hates Jeff Bezos so much that he was like, got to get to space before that Bezos guy. So he did it. He made it up there just because he hates him more. And while we're on the topic, I just have a rant real quick. Who in the world named the cities in New Mexico? Because they took off and landed in a city called Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. What kind of name is that? Who names those cities? I need to know.
Well, I can't say anything about that because I think that every time I come down your way to Florida, and I'm like, what in the hell is that name?
What? What name?
Like the names are just crazy to me down because you have a lot of things that are named after
Oh, well, we have a lot of like indigenous
yes,
names.
a
Yes.
lot of indigenous names, and I feel like such an a-hole, and I just won't tell people where I'm at because I'm like, I don't know how to say it.
Well, yeah. So we have names like Okeechobee and
Yes.
yeah, we do. We have a lot of
Truth and
indigenous names.
Consequences sounds like something my older sister would have named her town if you were able to name your Oregon Trail town at the end.
Yeah, well, it's called Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. That is where Richard Branson made history by taking off and landing his spacecraft. He went to space. He went 50,000 feet up in the air just and experienced several minutes of weightlessness just over the atmosphere. There's a
Conception
city.
in Missouri, but isn't Missouri where the Garden of Eden was actually located, according to some people?
Probably, yeah, some people, some of our culty people. Um,
I wonder if that name has anything to do with that. That would be amazing.
I'm sure it does. It's got to. It's got to.
So, and if
Um,
y'all didn't know that, Garden of Eden's located in Missouri. Just head that way and just let us know when you find it.
yeah, it's there. Don't worry. You
And
might
it's
see
not at
Joseph
the
Smith
Silver Dollar
there.
City, so you got to keep driving.
You might find some golden tablets in Joseph Smith while you're there.
Dum da dum dum dum. Anyways,
Yeah. Intercourse, Pennsylvania. That's a good one. Y, Arizona. I want to live in Y. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to tell you, the Garden of Eden is not Independence, Missouri. They're wrong.
They are indeed wrong. And I can say that with my whole chest.
I'm gonna tell you what, if that is what the Garden of Eden was, I'd have been eating those apples. Like, yes, please kick me out of here.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
I didn't even ask to be here. You did this. But yeah, thank you guys for coming and sticking with us as we went through our technical difficulties. We will do a shorter, more informative video on this. This is like, we just like to talk to you guys and get some of your input, see what parts you're interested in hearing about, and then we can make a video out of it.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll do some more live streams coming up and get you guys back together. So we love hanging out with you guys whenever we can. And we always appreciate that. And we love hanging out with you in the Discord as well. So if you're not there, come join us. Our township is called Dumber. That's awesome.
And we do have an email address that you can contact us at now. I think I finally added that to our channel description.
Oh, good. I'm really bad at linking things and putting all the stuff in our descriptions. So, yeah, I'm going to need Stacy for that. Thank you for that help.
Well, it's only because Snoop reminds me when she's like, hey, do you guys have a link? And I'm like, hey, you know what? We probably should.
But we keep forgetting to give it to you.
That is why Snoop Medic is the best. So round of applause to Snoop Medic.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do for us. We appreciate that so much. And thank you everyone for your support. So I know we will see you again soon. Have a great week. Go spread some love and kindness. Don't buy Armie Hammer.
Do get a Starbucks. That's my go-to.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep. Bye, y'all. Thanks for coming.